Hey everyone, welcome back to Alleyways, or if it's your first time here, welcome to my channel. Thank you so much for taking the time to watch this video, and if you haven't already, please make sure to join the Alleyways family. Subscribe to my channel, give this video a big thumbs up, and turn on post notifications, not only so you know when I have new content, but also so I can include you in my subscriber shout out. This is my special way of thanking and acknowledging each and every one of you, and I am going to be shouting out a very special subscriber at the end of today's video, so make sure you stay tuned until the end in case that's you. I'm really excited for today's video. I got several requests to show how I did my makeup in Disney, and I was so excited by that because me and Deanna and Chavi really did put a lot of effort into our looks, and it was kind of a challenge figuring out a makeup routine that would work for vlogging and taking photos all day. And so thank you to everybody who requested this video. As always, if you have any questions, leave them in the comments down below and I will try my level best to get to all of them. I do have some discounts for some of the products that I use in this video. Those will be in the description box down below. But yes, any other questions, leave them in the comments. But now let's go get ready. Okay, so to start my makeup in Disney and every day, I always use foundation from The Perfect Face. It's an incredible female-owned company based in the USA, and all of their makeup is actually designed to be worn on camera. You don't have to wear it on camera. It looks great in person as well, but that's one of the reasons why I really wanted to wear it in Disney, because I was going to be vlogging all day, and I'm using the shade Y5. This is the Picture Perfect foundation, and if you're worried about matching, they'll match you just if you send a photo in, but I'll show you why I love this foundation. Look at that. Amazing coverage. It's really close to when I have a tan. It's just so natural, and it only takes, I dipped this in really lightly once, and look at that. And I'm just going to spread that around. I don't want to have too much foundation, and especially not in Disney because of how much I'm going to sweat. So I really just did a light covering with this product. Just a little bit goes a really long way, and it just has, I mean, perfect coverage. Picture perfect coverage. So I just use this foundation brush, or you can use a wet beauty blender. This is just a Morphe foundation brush. I don't know what the number is. And I'm going to dip in for just a little bit more, but I'll show you how lightly, just like that, and then see, it's, I can't say enough good things about The Perfect Face. I love all the products I've tried from there, but this foundation is really just my favorite. I have super sensitive hypoallergenic skin, or hyperallergenic? I have sensitive skin, and this has never broken me out. I was so worried when I started using this during my year as Miss Tennessee, because they were a sponsor for Miss USA, that it was going to break me out, and even when I changed from the foundation that I was using to this one, I never did, and it never breaks me out now, which is such a gift. So I'm going to go keep kind of just blending this in so we don't have any kind of lines. I take it back onto my ears and a little bit down my neck, just so it doesn't look like we have any kind of sharp lines. But I'll blend that in, and then we'll move on to concealer. So for my concealer in Disney, I used Tarte Shape Tape in Fair Neutral, and I just do a little dot here, here, and here. Then on the corners of my eye, I do a flick up to try and create just an upward line there to lift our eyes in a way that's, you know, the fox eye trend is everything. And then one dot here on the end of my nose, and then just a couple up. We all know a little bit of Shape Tape goes a long way. I do a little there. I just barely highlight my Cupid's bow and then do some on my chin. And I did makeup even under my mask just because I knew I was going to be vlogging while I was eating. But you don't have to if you don't want to. But I did do this every day. And then I just take my finger actually and start moving the Shape Tape around really quickly after I put it on and blending it. And then I will show you what I do once I pat this in. Okay, once I have everything kind of patted down, I take a damp beauty blender and just bounce over all of those areas, and a little on your foundation if you have anywhere that doesn't look like skin. We want everything to still look like skin. So just, this helps really blend things really nicely. And really kind of pats it into the skin, which I got a lot of questions about how my makeup stayed all day. Well, the foundation, for starters, is so great. There's not a lot of transfer. It just is a really great long wear foundation, but I think also this helps, and then we'll also show another little trick in just a bit. All right, and that's how I conceal. Now let's move on to contour. So for my contour, I also use the Picture Perfect Face Foundation. I use the shade, I believe, yeah, this is Y9. And then I just take a round brush like this, dip in just a little, and then swipe all the areas I want to contour. And so you can see kind of already the difference between the two sides, and just that creates a shadow. Then I do the sides of my nose. I'm gonna have to look in my mirror for this because it's more precise. And then just round my forehead just a little bit to give some shape there. And then once I've done that, I go back in again with my beauty blender and again just bounce this all into the skin. And there is our contour. Now let's move on to powdering. All right, so for my powder, I used a little more than I normally would when I was in Disney, just to make sure everything was set really well. I just use this cheap Maybelline powder. It's the Shine Free Loose powder. And when I'm tan like I am now and in Disney, I use both the medium and the light. So I'm gonna take the light powder and just powder those areas where we concealed. So we want those areas to still be bright, so we look wide awake and fresh. So anywhere where I put concealer, I just go in with quite a bit. And then just check and make sure that looks nice. And we don't want it to look too dry, so don't go too crazy with the powder, but a little more than you normally would because you're gonna have a nice glow from sweat. Now I'm gonna move on to the medium color and pick up some of that powder and dust it on everywhere that we contoured. And making sure we blend down the neck, especially now that Disney is doing photos without masks. You really want to make sure you're blended because now you can see your face and its lines. And that looks good to me and is going to also help with my makeup just kind of staying in place and fighting the sweat. Next, on top of my powder, I do a powder bronzer just to like bring back any of the contour that we lost to the powder. And then I also do a powder blush to add in some of that Disney Princess Pink. So I just again use the Maybelline Mineral Power blush, and this is Gentle Pink, and then the Hoola bronzer. So we'll do our bronzer first and just kind of carving out those shapes, giving our face some dimension. And then I do my blush just here on top of my cheekbones, but right now I know it's also really popular to kind of take it over the nose a little, so you could do that if you wanted to give it that kind of sun-kissed, youthful Disney princess vibe, if you will. So I concentrate most of my blush here. And then we'll just do a little. Just to add a little bit more youth and color. Alright, now we have our face done except for our highlight, so let's pop on a little glow, then we'll move on to eyes. So for my highlight, I'm still using the Aurora Glow Kit from Anastasia Beverly Hills, and it is so old and disgusting, but I just like dip into the Lyra for the really kind of gold color, and then sweep that over the top of our blush, over the apple of my cheek, and then I just do just a tiny bit on my nose, not too much. I know that's popular now, but really this is exactly what's going to be touching up against the mask, so I don't get too carried away with it. So that is our skin. Next, let's move on to eyes. Okay, I zoomed in a little more so hopefully you all can see, but basically for my eyes, those same powders that I used earlier for my face, I just dip into the medium with a brush and cover my lid with that medium shade of powder on both eyes. And I really didn't do a ton. So you can see it just kind of makes the eyelid there blend a little bit better with the rest of our face, because right now the Tarte Shape Tape is what's on my lid. So just kind of bringing some powder, like a powder base in here, bringing a little bit more color back because that Shape Tape is really light. So the medium shade goes all over the lid and pretty high up on the brow bone. And then with our, I'm going to go even higher on the brow bone just because it's looking a little pale. And then with our light powder, I'm just going to carve out that brow bone. So kind of highlighting it with this lighter color here. And then sweep that down too into the inner corner because we want that to be nice and bright. Yeah, just like that. So the next thing I do is add a little brightness onto the center of the lid. I use this Morphe palette. This is the 9A Always Golden palette, and I use the color Surprise, this really shimmery gold right here. And I just take my ring finger and just pop a little of this shimmer. And I try and just like isolate it to the center of my lid. And not do too terribly much, just kind of a light little sheen. Like that, just to add some brightness. Then I take this brush that I absolutely love from The Perfect Face. This is, I'll show you what it looks like. This is their Smudge Brush. And I really think that it's supposed to just be for your lower eyelid. And I do use it there, but I also actually use this and did this in Disney on my crease. So I use this super old MAC eyeshadow called Amorous Alloy. It's broken, but it's a copper color, and this is what I used in Disney. And I start with this. So I just take the smudge brush and follow like where I can see my eyelid shape and just go just on top of that with the smudge brush and just kind of start bringing that shape out, creating a shadow there, and then connect to my lower eyelid. So I'll take the smudge brush and go on the lower lid, bringing the Amorous Alloy there, right under, and then going up, creating a line from my lower lid. If my lower lid had a line that continued, that's the line I make for my upper lid. So creating a little shape here. You can see this little V shape right there. So I use my lower eyelid as a guide for where to put this shape on the end of my eye. So I just create this shape here. Like so. And right now that's looking pretty harsh. Like this next to the white powder that we placed down is looking a little harsh, but don't worry, we're gonna fix it. Trust the process. And you can really see the lines really clearly, which I keep saying you don't want to see that. You want everything to be really well blended. So next what I do is I take a larger, fluffier brush, and I kind of like change what color I use depending on how I'm feeling. But in Disney, I used this color Splendid from the Morphe 9A palette, and I just dipped my brush in it very lightly and then went over that kind of harsh shape that we created with this big fluffy brush with a tiny bit of a lighter color to blend it out. So you can see the shape is getting softer, and kind of creating more of a gradient down to that gold that we put there. So the transition's a little bit more of an ombre. But to me, this is looking nice and soft. I'm gonna go do the other eye, then we'll come back and do eyebrows and liner. Okay, for eyebrows, I keep it really simple. I use the Anastasia Dip Brow Pomade in Taupe, and I just take a small, like, flat angled brush, and then I dip into this and just kind of loosely follow the shape of my eyebrow and fill it in to the best of my ability. And I say this in all of my videos, like, I'm not a makeup artist, I'm not a makeup YouTuber, I'm not a makeup guru. I'm not using the best techniques or tools or products. This is just what I do, that you know, works for me. And I think that that's all what we have to do, is just do our best. So yeah, I just kind of like roughly fill in, but not too much, because you still want to be able to see the individual hairs. Like, I don't want it to look like my eyebrows are too drawn on. So I try not to use too much product. I just want to create kind of a shadow behind the hairs of color, so that the hairs that I have that are like blonde actually stand out. And then once I do that, I go in with the Brett Brow Arch Control. My friend Brett makes this incredible brow gel, Brett Friedman Beauty, and it is a tinted brow gel. And then what I do is I just brush through my eyebrow hairs to really make them just look a little bit more groomed and tidy. And then the tint also really helps because it grabs onto anywhere that I missed with the pomade. And then I just kind of brush my eyebrow hairs up, because that's what's popular now, is big bushy brows. And so I just kind of brush them up so they look a little bit thicker. And then on the other side, from the tinted brow gel, there's just a dry spoolie brush, and I take that and then brush it through what I just did, just to continue as the gel is drying, giving the brows shape so they don't fall, and then picking up any kind of excess product where we have too much. So we'll do that. And that looks good to me. I think that is good enough. So next, moving on to eyeliner, I still am using the black Stila eyeliner, an intense black. And I love this because I do winged liner pretty much all the time. I still am doing winged liner because I wear strip lashes. Now, I'm going to try to learn some new things, and when I do, I'll bring them to the channel. But basically, all I do is just take the Stila pen, because it's felt tip, and just lay it lightly against my lash line. And I really try and get into the lashes well. Sorry, it's hard to talk and do this at the same time. But I really want to get a lot of saturation into the lashes, because I am going to be putting on strip lashes. You don't want little like white areas in between your lashes coming through, because then that makes your lashes look gappier and more unnatural. So really get in there and fill that in, and then open, make sure you get that inner corner. It's allergy season, and so I always do my inner corner and then it ends up running, which drives me crazy. But then for the wing, I again just let the pen do the most of the work. I just kind of lay it and drag it, and that's how I do my wing, just like that. And if I want to modify it, I can come back in and like take it up a little, make it a little pointier, but that's really why I love this pen, is because it is just so easy to get a nice shape. So that's how I do my wing liner. I also have gone back to using white eyeliner on my waterline here, and I just do a bunch of it. Because I do have smaller eyes, I just do this to give them the illusion of being more open. So I fill that in just like that. And I'm going to go to the other side, then we'll come back and do lips, and we're almost done. Okay, so I wore lashes every day in Disney. I wore the Ardell Naked Lashes in the style 421, which I currently don't have, so this is just the Kiss Ritzy lash. It's the closest thing I could get. I didn't show putting them on just because it's a little tricky to do on camera, but I always use the Duo black lash glue, and I just think that helps really create like a nice saturated dark line. I did do lips every day, even though I was wearing a mask, because a lot of times I would start the vlog in the room, or when I took my mask off, I just wanted to have a little bit of color on my lips. So I used the Perfect Face lip liner in the color Cameo, and I just kind of followed the natural line of my lip and maybe overline just a tad. Just like that. And then once I get the outline there, I kind of fill in any areas that I want to be a little darker, so kind of around the edges, just to get those the same kind of nice color. And then I go in with the NYX Liquid Lingerie matte lip in the shade Lace Detail, and I just cover over everything we just did. I even take this over my liner just to make sure it's really nice and blended. And in Disney, I just left that there like that, because the matte was really nice for less transfer. But if you don't like a matte lip, I go over that usually with this Neutrogena Hydro Boost in the color Radiant Rose, but I wait for it to dry and then I gloss it. And that is how I did my makeup in Disney. I'm going to go do my hair really quickly, and then we will come back and shout out some subscribers. Okay, so my hair is done. I did curl my hair every day with a 1.5-inch barrel. I wore extensions every single day, which really added to the heat, but was so worth it in photos. And then I set everything with setting spray. Now I just use a basic Ulta brand setting spray, and that is going to help so much keep your makeup in place all day. Another thing that I did was I brought a bag of touch-up makeup in my backpack into the park with me. That way, if, you know, I went on Splash Mountain and things got a little messy, I could touch up if I got too sweaty. Really, just in case anything happened, I wanted to have it there with me so I could continue vlogging and taking photos and feeling confident. Yeah, a small touch-up bag I think is a really great thing to keep in your park's backpack. Like I said before, I do have discounts in the description box down below. If you have questions, leave them for me. I hope you guys enjoyed this tutorial, and now I want to shout out a very special subscriber. I want to say hello and thank you to Madison Patchen. Madison, you left me a comment that was really, really meaningful. You basically shared that my videos had gotten you through a tough week, and that means more than I can say, because I think that we've all been there when, you know, you're having a tough time and you watch something just to get your mind off of what you're thinking about or to travel to a different place, and that means so much to me that I could, you know, be with you there and make your week better. I just can't tell you how much that means to me. It's one of the reasons that I started my channel, because watching so many other YouTubers did that for me, and it was a nice escape or enjoyment or lifted me up. And so I just want to say thank you, Madison, and I am so grateful you're part of the Alleyways family. I'm so glad you're here. Thank you to my live chat crew who is here on the premiere with me. You guys are the best. If you're looking for a kind group of people just to get to know and chat with every week, please join us on my premieres. I premiere videos at 8 p.m. Central Standard Time on Wednesdays and Sundays. But I think that is it. I will miss you all so much, and I can't wait to see you next time right here on Alleyways. Bye!